So Brom's rule number one is change the patient's story. That's my number one. I mean, I've got about 12 or 13 Brom's rules that I teach. But Brom's rule number one is change the patient's story, because for me it's the most important thing I can do during my first consultation. So they come in with a bad story.
Yes, go on.
Because they think they got a disease that could kill them.
Yes.
And that medicine hasn't anything they can do apart from treat it symptomatically. So they carry this burden into the office that I've got this disease, doctor.
Yeah.
And how can you help this disease, because the drugs that I'm taking are not helping. And this disease is degenerative and it's going to get worse in time.
Yeah.
And I need to have some help with it.
Is this particularly helpful with chronic disease? Or if I come to you with a broken arm, I presume you're going to say, let's go to the hospital and get it split. Oh no.
No.
Oops.
No,
Right.
not quite like that, because there's still a story attached to it. I mean, it's a question of why did it happen to you now, for example, and are you interested in that? If you're not interested in that, we won't go there. But for me, it's always, because life is so full of meaning, and so everything is so purposeful, and like Jung said, synchronicity. Things happen in a synchronicity kind of way, that there's purpose and meaning in everything. If it's an emergency, of course we need to deal with it. But for me, it's what's really going on.
Yeah.
So most of the time, Brom's rule number one, change the patient's story, has to do with chronic disease. The person comes in firstly with the burden of disease, which is a bad story. Secondly, they carry this whole thing around, my partner that has been responsible for my stress and that my work situation. So they carry all this burden into your room.
Yeah.
And all of that, they've even told me they know that that's partly, maybe the main reason why they're ill. They're telling me that as well. So changing the patient's story is everything to me.
Yeah.
I want the patient to walk out of that room with a smile on their face.
So how do you do that? Because those stories are probably quite deeply held.
There's a simple way to, I mean, there are many different ways that I have. For example, you can choose to be an optimist or a pessimist.
Yeah.
But it's stupid to be a pessimist, because you're going to feel pessimistic, and every single cell in your body is going to be surrounded by the chemicals of pessimism. So you have no choice but to be an optimist. And if you're going to be an optimist, you have two choices. You can be a conditional optimist or an unconditional optimist. Well, it's stupid to be a conditional optimist, because if things get bad enough, you're going to become a pessimist. So you have no choice but to be, if you're intelligent, to be an unconditional optimist.
And do you find that some of your patients say, I got it, that's
that story is for those people that are going to accept it. I've got other stories as well.
Okay.
Ill health, you can make it into a journey. It is a journey.
Yes.
Life is a journey.
Yes.
So ill health is a signpost. It's not a problem that you got. It's a signpost showing you the path that you're on. So if you kind of have a spiritual tendency, or if you believe in God, then we can talk about God.
Okay.
You know, that nothing happens by chance. God is giving you the stuff that you need to have in order to come closer to Him. So your illnesses are nothing more than the core.
It's part of your conversation.
It's part of your conversation with God, you see.
Okay. What I'm hearing you say is that you tailor your story response to what they can hear, what you think they can digest. Yeah. Because I'm free of a story. It's not a question of whether I believe in God or not. I'm happy with God. I'm happy with great mystery. I'm happy with the Tao. I'm happy with wherever you're coming from. It helps me to create the story.